going on, guys? It's Flish here, and recently I've been trying to get into making some non-satire content, specifically looking at video games I played and seeing if I was wrong for playing them or not. I already made a video entirely shitting on Geometry Dash's existence, so why not set the record straight and give the game a fair look? Now, it's normally a good idea to wait for the latest update before reviewing a game, but
Guys, the last Geometry Dash update was almost 3.5 years ago. 3.5 freaking years, and it shows no sign of coming out anytime soon. 3.5 years. Are you serious? Are you serious, Rob Top? 3.5 years and still counting. Holy shit!
So let's, I don't know, do it. You didn't have to zoom in so dramatically. It's Geometry Dash. Let's talk about Geometry Dash. So this game's all about jumping over spikes. One thing Geometry Dash fans love is when you compare it to the Impossible game. And yes, if you say that these two are anything alike, you're freaking wrong. But yeah, Geometry Dash was clearly inspired by the Impossible game. But the Impossible game is this crusty browser flash game that kind of doesn't have any atmosphere or plot or character development, anything. Rob Top may have completely and utterly stolen this idea for a jumpy square obstacle game, but he gave it life. This is the final level of the Impossible game, and I've gotta say, no! This game uses a grand total of 4 different colors, and you see more variety after half of Geometry Dash's first level than you do in this entire game. But this video isn't about Geometry Dash's senile grandpa. Let's talk about the thing itself. It released on mobile first in late 2013, and on Steam just over a year later. You can also play it on one of these shitty flash game sites if you're stuck on school Chromebooks after your spelling test or something. I've gotta say, I've always been more of a mobile Geometry Dash player. Hardcore fans probably wouldn't like that, but I think it's easier and makes you feel more in control. I don't know how to explain it. For level creating, I've only ever used mobile, but I'd imagine it's a lot easier on computers. Alright, that's enough for the introduction. Now it's time to actually delve into the gaminess of this game and see what's poppin'. But before we do, listen. This video was made by somebody who not only hasn't really played Geometry Dash in like 3 yeyears, but isn't all that good at the game. My biggest accomplishment is completing every official level with 3 coins. The only unofficial demon level I've completed is Nightmare, the easiest one. I built this level. I am not qualified to make this video at all, so from this point forward, I like to hand the mic over to my buddy Pete. Yes, this guy is full of experience. He is literally a shape straight out of the shape alphabet. He is geometry, so he should know a thing or two about Geometry Dash. Pete, what do you have to say?
Get the f out of here.
Alright, Pete can't make it, so you'll just have to accept that I'm a Geometry Dash noob. If being the more experienced Geometry Dash player makes you feel like your opinions are superior, cool. So as it stands now, we got 21 levels to tackle. These were made by Rob Top, the game's independent creator. You got these faces here to let you know how pissed you should get at each respective level. Being overly ecstatic at a game about jumping squares is pretty cool, I think, so let's hop into stereo madness. Holy sh**, this level title is not lying, this is f***ing madness! I mean, this is pretty much just a more graphically impressive version of the Impossible game at first glance, except, unlike the Impossible game, this game is possible. Very possible. Like, way freaking easy. If you're new to the game, you'll probably die a fair amount, but as someone who's beaten all these levels, I've pretty much mastered every. So yeah, when you click the screen, you jump as frick. Avoid spikes, walls, and anything else that looks like it wants to kill you. About a third of the way into our first level, we get our first explanation for why we paid our hard-earned money on this game instead of playing the Impossible game for free. A vehicle. This is the ship, and with this, we can fly to space! Okay, more like this vehicle lets us play a wacky game of Jetpack Joyride. Hold down to do some wacky flying. Without vehicles, I gotta admit, Geometry Dash would really just be a somewhat better version of the Impossible game. But with the ship, as well as the other vehicles present here, you could play in more ways than just jumping over some triangles. As we get through more levels, we discover more vehicles, and the difficulty gradually gets frickier and frickier. The ball form allows you to do something any ball can do. Click to invert your gravity and participate in gravity inversion related activities. Flappy Bird may have been deleted from the App Store, but that doesn't mean we can't play it. You could just screw around with the UFO power-up. Not gonna lie, this isn't how I'd expect aliens to invade Earth. The wave allows you to travel diagonally and draw the line graph of your dreams, and the robot lets you jump with more freedom. Tap quickly to just right off the ground like that, or hold the button to go freaking flying! Finally, there's a spider. Does that thing all spiders do. This one wasn't terribly necessary in my opinion. The ball already does this, just not as fast, but I mean, the more the merrier, I guess. Update 2.2 is supposed to add a new vehicle that looks like some kind of Dipe.io tank. Not sure what it'll do, but I'm guessing it has something to do with the tanks from Dipe.io. That's it for the vehicles, and they definitely do spice things up. It's sorta hard to think of other new ways to make your character do more little things. Except, you can go upside down, which is cool, it makes you think in reverse and adds a new element of difficulty. You can also go backwards, which doesn't do any of that. This edition doesn't really change much at all, you're just moving left now. I'm pretty sure Rob Top and level level creators know this, since I never really see this being used in later official levels or custom levels. You can go tiny, which for the cube isn't so different since levels are built to accommodate your tininess, but for certain vehicles, your trajectory flying angle thingies get ridiculous and way harder to manage. These dual portals here create a doppelganger of you that mimics your actions on the opposite side of the screen. You can make some challenging stuff out of this, but it normally ends up with you focusing on the bottom guy and the other one just following the same path but flipped upside down. You got teleporters that do something, I don't know, and speedy McSpeedsters that alter how fast you go. All of these things individually are fine, but when you get to later levels, they start mix and matching the frick out of these things, and it just gets nuts. Scattered across the levels are these things. If it's a flat thingy on the ground, simply touching it will cause you to jump a certain height or change gravity depending on the color. If it's a circle floating in the air, well, same thing, but you gotta click for it to work. You normally have to use these things to continue forward, but sometimes they'll be placed in frick zones that'll get you killed if you use them. Also scattered throughout each level are these coins. Each level has 3 stinky coins, and they're hidden in locations that make you do some weird shit to access. These coins, along with the general completion of levels, be it normally or in practice mode with checkpoints, unlock various skins and colors for your square and vehicles. These stars are also awarded when you complete the level and do the same thing. These orbs are also given to you the more progress you make in a level, and they do the same thing. This game has a lot of currencies. We'll get to that in a bit. That's mostly related to the custom level stuff, but since we know what there is to see in these jumpy levels, time for a quick review of each official one. Stereo Madness, not even remotely madness, and only a tiny little bit of stereo. Back on Track introduces these Patty McPad faces that can either help or screw you over. Not all that much harder than Stereo Madness. Polargeist introduces jumpy circles and a face that looks like it's ready to kill the frick out of you. Dry Out, upside down as frick, really emphasizes that not every jump should be jumped, and you gotta learn to wait it out sometimes. Base After Base, very average place, introduces the world to a constipated face. Frick yeah! Can't Let Go, man I wish I could let go, because this level boring as frick! Jumper, could technically be the name of all of these levels, but more importantly, it's getting real now, man. You gotta be careful where you jump, you gotta be careful where you ship. Your ship could get all deorbitized or whatever, start flying upside down, really starts hitting the fan here, dude. Time Machine, you start flip-flopping all over the place, up, down, left, right, BA type right here, man, and it gets harder. Cycles! I mean, it introduces the ball and stuff. This is a really forgettable level. X-Step. Not only is there an increase in difficulty, but an increase in visual As new levels were added to the game over time, they started looking prettier and prettier, leaving the old levels to rot! Clutterfunk starts out sounding like the theme song of some pesky cereal mascot, but then it drops the it goes ape and drops some tricky McFrickies on you. Theory of Everything, more like Theory of Forgettable Level, but still kinda hard though. Electroman Adventures. I googled Electroman to find out who the frick that is, and it's this guy. It's this guy's adventure right now. Clubstep is the first Steven level, and it is fricked. We stumble through the mouths of these monsters who have terrible dental hygiene, and we discover fake spikes, fake floors, fake walls, invisible spikes, invisible blocks, crazy gravity. Frick! Electrodynamics has you partying at double, no frick that, triple speed. Flashing lights, music notes, and some flippity-floppity vehicle maneuveration takes place here. Hexagon Force. Pete, this one's for you. Take it away.
I'm a Pentagon. Dumb
What Pete failed to mention is that you can get cloned in this one and have to do things ever so slightly differently as a result. Frick! Blast Processing introduces the wave and sets the difficulty back a few notches, gives the players a bit of a break. Theory of Everything 2 fricks that all up, being the second demon level. Tough wave takes place here, along with more invisible block frickery, and more stupid She is the bratty younger sister of Theory of Everything 1, and I want her to die. Geometrical Dominator brings a lot of flavor to the visuals of the game, leaving the old levels to rot, adding rainbows, flowing water, invisible magic platform bullshit, weird devices, and this robot thing that does that. Deadlocked, the third and currently final official demon level, a culmination of everything you learned up to this point, but after being crushed under hydraulic press channel's machine, thrown into some lava, and then crushed under that machine again like 50 times. And then there's Finger Dash, looks really nice, has a spider thing going on, overall really cool level. There's also a super secret level you can unlock by entering this vault. You see, a couple of vaults exist where you can type passwords, get skins and colors and stuff, cool I guess, but you can also get this secret level called the Challenge. Oh man, this level's really freaking easy and underwhelming. So that's it for Geometry Dash's official content. All that's left now is to unlock these things. Orbs can be spent in this dinky little shop, and the rest is unlocked by collecting all of this. But how do we do that? By heading to the custom level section and playing one of these 50 freaking modes. Back in my Geometry Dash days, a lot of this didn't exist. All these modes are just different ways to play custom levels, the only true difference being the currency you get when completing one. Cool, I guess, but nothing I really give a frick about. You can also get these currencies in this daily chest loot thing, which okay. Back to the levels though. These levels were made by the players, the fans, the people. When I was making levels, it was a simpler time. People didn't expect much. Here's a quick look at some of my custom levels from years ago. Oh boy. Crash Castle was the first one I made, and yikes! Shadow Nova is the first complete level I made. Clearly an improvement in detail and stuff like that. Not all too interesting to play though. Nova Blaze Dash, quite possibly the coolest name for a level ever. Features more contraption type beats, and this guy. There's this disco place with crappy wave transition, and this rainbow fun time place with two things that go hand in hand. Happy Rainbows and Shipwrecks. That's about it. Never really made anything too crazy, although I did enjoy making custom levels. Looking online before, I'd always see levels of similar detail as these. Nowadays, people get insane. Most levels now have optional low detail modes just to make things run smoothly, and I mean, there's hardcore block design, background stuff. Some people make straight up movies and other games within this game. It's crazy how much people have been able to do with this editor, but I will say there are a few problems with it. First of all, I dig some small explanations of what some of these things are. I mean, some of these have tooltips, but others don't, and I'd really like it to be understandable what all this frickin' stuff is for noobs. Also, none of these things make any sense. They're here because they're tiny little bits and pieces of these levels, but they don't need to be here. Who's gonna look at this and say, that! I need that in my level! But that doesn't matter, people still make great levels every day, so let's talk about actually playing them now. Honestly, I don't know what it is about games like this, but I've never really been into playing custom levels in any game that has them. It's the same with Super Mario Maker. I love making levels and watching people play custom levels, but for some reason I never just feel incentivized to play custom levels for myself. When it's a true Mario game, I feel like there's something to work toward. Beating a level means unlocking another one and getting closer to an end goal. With Geometry Dash, official levels will always award you with something. Custom levels won't always award you with something. And while you could just make sure you only play levels that do give awards, I don't know, man, it's just not the same as, say, Mario. There's no progression, you just choose one and play it. Furthermore, I don't know, man, this game's just muscle memory. Learning new jumping patterns over and over just with the goal of collecting these wacky currencies that unlock new skins and colors, I don't know, it just doesn't really appeal to me too terribly much. That's kinda why I stopped playing after beating all the official levels. All these modes just spit custom levels at you for a chance to get more of this stuff. That doesn't really matter though, because if you like the game, you like the game, and a frick ton of people do. Geometry Dash has a surprisingly massive community, and quite a passionate one at that. I've seen a fair share of Geometry Dash YouTubers, and while I'm not super interested in watching Geometry Dash content, I've seen a few of their videos, and I did like what I saw. That being said, still, the fact that this game has such a huge community is crazy to me. I wish I could go more in depth about various aspects of the Geometry Dash community and dramatic events that have apparently taken place, but I'd be lying if I said I knew anything about them. I wasn't there, so why bother? It's just sort of surprising that this game right here has a fandom susceptible to so much drama. Again, that's just what I've heard, no hate from me. I guess now I should cover the other Geometry Dash games, World, Meltdown, and Sub-Zero. Honestly, I don't see why these had to exist. They're just more Geometry Dash levels essentially. They do some new things, but not really enough to warrant 3 separate games. These could have just been added to the main game as new levels. I guess these do give RobTop more ad revenue, so bleh. But alright, that's about all I gotta say. Is Geometry Dash a good game? Sure. 36,000 hours worthy? No! I just see it as a mobile game to play whenever I'm in one of those situations where all you can really do is play a mobile game. So hopefully this review didn't put anyone to sleep or into a fit of rage. All the other times I tried making non-satire stuff, I ended up scrapping them because I didn't like where they were going. Hopefully this works well, and I can continue to look at things I like in this style. For everything I review here, I'd also like to make a satire parody review as well, and vice versa. So if you're into screaming and complaining, you'll be satisfied. But yeah, I'm out. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later. I better go see what Pete's doing. Yo, Pete, I don't want to be a buzzkill or anything, but you're like crying right now, dude.
No shit, man, I just got done watching a really nostalgic and heartfelt anime opening.
Oh shit, is this that silly drum cartoon? Anyways, dude, you're crying up a storm in here. You could have totally avoided this by helping me talk about Geometry Dash for a bit.
Wait, you were serious? I thought you were joking.
I never joke about Geometry Dash.
You mean you really decided that after half a year of not uploading, your grand re-entrance to YouTube would be an in-depth review of Geometry Dash?
I mean, I tried other things.
I want to be in your reviews from now on.
Okay.
All of them. All the serious ones, not the stupid satire ones. I want to make your serious reviews a bit better so they're not train wrecks like this one was.
I literally haven't even started editing this one yet.
Just let me be in them, okay? You can still do most of the talking, just let me enhance the experience, okay?
So you gonna change the channel?
No.
Alright, cool.